If you're thinking of moving to the Raleigh area but don't want to pay Raleigh prices, this video is made for you. Median prices are sitting right around $450,000, and for a lot of people, that either maxes out their budget completely or it buys you something a lot smaller than what you were picturing. But here's what nobody talks about. Within 30 to 40 minutes of Raleigh, there are towns where your money goes significantly further, where you can space out and still enjoy all of the modern luxuries that you want. I'm Zach, I'm a local real estate agent based in this region, and today I'm breaking down 5 of those towns. The good, the trade-offs, actual numbers, and what each place feels like to live in and day out. If you're still figuring out whether this whole region is even the right fit, subscribe. We put a lot of content out about living here, and we'd love to help you figure it out. Let's get into it. Raleigh is one of the best positioned cities in the country right now. A strong job market, great food scene, growing healthcare and tech sectors. It's a growing city and it's not slowing down. But that growth has a direct price tag on it, and you feel it the most in housing. The closer you want to be to the action, the more you pay. And in a lot of cases, the less you get for it. What we're looking at today is the ring right around Raleigh. Towns in different directions, different personalities, different trade offs, but all of them within reasonable distance, and all of them giving you something Raleigh's price point often doesn't: room. 5 towns, let's go through them one by one. The first town that I'm going to talk about is called Fuquay-Varina. It's a name you've probably already heard if you've been doing a lot of research in this area. It sits in southern Wake County as well as northern Harnett County, about 20 miles from downtown Raleigh, and it's been one of the fastest growing towns in this entire region. That growth is not an accident. What makes Fuquay-Varina stand out from your typical suburb is that it actually has 2 distinct downtown districts: the Fuquay side and the Varina side. 2 separate walkable areas, each with local restaurants, boutiques, coffee shops, and businesses that have been there for quite a while. You don't find that combination in a lot of towns this close to a major city. It gives the place a really great identity. There's also Fuquay Mineral Spring Park, which anchors the historic downtown, and a community events calendar that stays pretty active throughout the year. This isn't a town that's just houses and parking lots. There's tons of character here. The commute into Raleigh runs about 25 to 45 minutes depending on time of day and exactly where you're headed. For Wake County, that's pretty reasonable. Now, the honest part, Fuquay-Varina's popularity has pushed prices up. Median home prices are not that much cheaper than the Raleigh area. What you're getting for the moderately lower price is usually newer construction, more square footage, and a finished out suburban infrastructure. Shopping, grocery stores, urgent care is all within minutes.
Hey guys, editor Zach here. I just wanted to clarify something. So I did say median home price or median sale price, and I should have probably just said that Fuquay has more options than Raleigh for those on a lower budget. Because as you can see, Fuquay's median sale price is actually just a bit higher than Raleigh's. However, this doesn't take into account the actual volume of homes in that lower price range. So, for example, I put a max budget of $400,000, 3 bed, 2 bath, and then I added some filters, 1750 square feet, lot size at least 7,500, and year built. I just put this century, honestly. And you can see that there are 15 results here in Fuquay. A lot of them are nicely spaced out, new construction. And then if we'll look at Raleigh, these are the same parameters. As you can see, there are only 6 results. So you can see, and Raleigh is a lot bigger than Fuquay-Varina too. It takes into account the entire city limits and outside of city limits as well. So you can see there are a lot more options in Fuquay, which is why I'm adding it to this video. But I misspoke, and it should not have been the median home value, but it should have been, the volume at a more reasonable price point than what Raleigh is offering. Anyway, back to the video.
The bottom line on Fuquay: if staying close to Raleigh matters to you, whether that's for work, family, or just peace of mind, and you want a town with big community character and full suburban amenities, Fuquay-Varina delivers that. But if your main goal is to stretch your housing dollar as far as it'll go, you'll probably find better value further down this list. Angier is the next town on this list, and it surprises people the most. I want to spend some time here because this town gets undersold bad. Angier is in Harnett County, about 30 minutes south of Raleigh. It's a town of about 8,000 people, and when buyers hear that, they immediately assume that there's nothing to do, but that is the furthest thing from the truth. We'll start with Jack Marley Park, 33 acres right in the heart of town. We're talking multiple playgrounds, ball fields, soccer fields, a walking trail around the little pond in the middle, a skate ramp, tennis courts, volleyball courts, and disc golf. And not to mention this really cool goose that I saw when I was shooting this B-roll. Take a look. He was vibing with me. I don't know what to say. Anyway, that is a serious community park, and it's full on weekends because this community actually uses it. And then, of course, you've got Vicious Fishes Brewery, which has become a great local gathering spot. Not a chain, not a franchise, a local place that people actually go regularly. Gregory Vineyard is just outside of town for something a little different, and Sunny Skies Homemade Ice Cream has a following that goes way beyond Angier. People drive there from all other towns specifically for it. I will tell you, I tried to go there and it said cash only. I was very sad, but we went back with cash and it was very good. So definitely check them out. Naylor Family Farm runs a corn maze every fall that draws families from all across the county. And of course, Raven Rock State Park is just minutes away. Now, it is located in Lillington. So save this for Lillington, but I'll give it to Angier here because they are right on top of each other. Raven Rock is a 4,600 acre park along the Cape Fear River. It has hiking, fishing, paddling. It's a really cool outdoor resource right in the backyard. And of course, Angier is known as the town of crepe myrtles, and they have the crepe myrtle celebration in the summer. That's a really cool community event, the kind of thing that tells you a town has a heartbeat. Downtown Angier still has that historic small town character, and it's been intentionally investing in itself. New businesses coming in, new events, and a great focus on growing thoughtfully rather than just letting urban sprawl take place. Housing affordability here is definitely better than Wake County. You're getting more house for your money, and the community around you is growing without feeling overrun. The bottom line on Angier, people who want a real community feel at a palatable price point, people who like knowing their neighbors, and buyers who want an authentic community, this is the place for you. The honest trade off, of course, is the commute. 30 to 40 plus minutes to Raleigh, depending on time of day and where you're coming from and where you're going, of course. And while the amenity base is growing, it's not suburban scale yet, but there is a great foundation, and that counts for a lot. The next town I'm going to talk about is called Pittsboro, and Pittsboro is the wild card on this list, and I mean that in the best way possible. Though the median house price is higher than Raleigh and Pittsboro, significantly higher actually, there are options that are competitive. So let's get into that one. Pittsboro has a lot of homes that skew that home price average up. Pittsboro, Chatham County's county seat, sits about 35 to 40 minutes west-southwest of Raleigh on US 64. And it has always had its own identity. A little artsy, a little independent, the kind of place where you'll find a locally owned restaurant that's been there for 20, 30, even 40 years, right next to a coffee shop opened by someone who left the city specifically for a different pace of life. People who connect with Pittsboro really connect with it. It's not trying to be Raleigh. It's comfortable being itself. The downtown circle with the historic courthouse is charming, not in a staged, manufactured way, but in a this town has been here for a long time and it knows it kind of way. There are local dining spots, independent shops, and a community culture that draws people who want something different from the standard suburb. But here's where Pittsboro gets really interesting for buyers right now. Chatham Park is one of the largest mixed-use planned communities in the entire Southeast, and it's being developed right here in Pittsboro. Over 5 miles of completed greenways already, with more than 30 planned, residential neighborhoods, retail, office space, all of it designed around walkability and trails. And then, of course, there's Disney. Yes, I did say Disney, as in Mickey Mouse Disney. Disney's Asteria community. Disney broke ground in June 2025 on a residential development that includes Disney-designed amenities, pools, trails, a clubhouse, a restaurant, wellness facilities. Whether that's your style or not, it's kind of besides the point. What it signals is that serious money is betting on Pittsboro's future. That matters for buyers. Home prices in Chatham County have been climbing as that development accelerates, but there's still value relative to Wake County in some parts, and you're buying a fundamentally different lifestyle. More land, more space, and a community with its own personality. The bottom line on Pittsboro, if you want distinct, established community character and you're excited about buying in before the price fully catches up with what's being built, this is your town. If you need a fully built out suburban infrastructure right now, it's not quite there yet, but the trajectory is clear. Number 4, this is the one I know best, Sanford, Lee County. This is where I live, where I work, so I want to be upfront with you. I have an obvious stake here, and that's exactly why I'm going to be more straight with you about this one, not less. Sanford is about 45 minutes to Raleigh, depending on where you're headed and in which part of Sanford you're starting. If you're driving into downtown Raleigh or even up to Durham and Chapel Hill 5 days a week, you need to fully understand that commute before you fall in love with a house here. I'm not going to minimize it because it matters. But if you want, I'll link my video discussing the commute from Sanford to Raleigh below. What Sanford gives you in exchange for that commute is the strongest straight up value on this list. Average home prices are right around $286,000, and you're getting more meaningful square footage, better yard space, and a community that has a strong identity that wasn't just invented last year to attract buyers. Downtown Sanford is actively investing in itself. There are local restaurants with strong roots here and growing arts scene, community events, and a small city feel that has enough going on to fill your weekends without having to drive north every single time. We have great parks like Kiwanis Family Park and San Lee Park, as well as an easy drive to Pinehurst if golf is your thing. And the landscape out here, rolling countryside, not flat subdivision sprawl. That's something people notice when they come visit. It looks like and feels a lot different from what's around Raleigh. Sanford can be a great option for a wide variety of people. It's close to Fort Bragg as well for those of our military families, and it's a town that really rewards people who give it a chance. The bottom line on Sanford, if price is one of the top 2 things that matter to you, and you're okay with a small commute in exchange for significantly more home, and of course a town with character, Sanford is where the math works. And if you want to talk specifics about what your budget actually looks like here, that's exactly the conversation my team set up for. And the last one, Lillington. I'm going to be the most direct here about trade-offs because the value is great, but you should go in with honest expectations. Lillington is the county seat of Harnett County, about 45 to 50 minutes from Raleigh, with no interstate running directly between them. Commuters feel that. The drive is manageable, but it's not as clean of a shot as some of the other towns on this list. And that's something to factor in before you fall in love with a floor plan here. Home prices run roughly the same range as Sanford, around $286,000 to $290,000 on average. Harnett County's overall cost of living consistently runs below both the state and national averages. For buyers where price is the biggest factor, Lillington is one of the most legitimate affordable options in the entire Triangle footprint. The town itself is small. You've got the county courthouse, a modest downtown, local shops, and a growing residential base. It's not going to have the amenity infrastructure of Fuquay-Varina or the community activity of Angier, and I'm not going to pretend otherwise, but what Lillington does have is proximity to some absolutely beautiful natural assets. You're right on the Cape Fear River, Raven Rock State Park is nearby. The landscape out here is open and scenic in a way that a lot of suburban buyers don't realize until they actually visit. New construction is picking up in Lillington as more buyers price themselves out of Wake County and they start looking into Harnett County. And those developments often offer significant incentives to buyers. The bottom line on Lillington, if affordability is the top priority and commute frequency to Raleigh is low, whether you work remotely, work locally, or just don't need to be in the city every day, Lillington offers exceptional value. If you need to be in Raleigh 5 days a week, it's a tough ask, but for the right buyer, the price point here is hard to argue with. Here's the framework I'd use if I were in your position. If staying close to Raleigh is non-negotiable, commute, family, whatever the reason, Fuquay-Varina gives you the most suburban convenience at a price point below core Raleigh with actual community character built in. If you want real affordability, but also want a town with legitimate things going on, Angier is the most underrated option in my opinion. Go visit before you write it off. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you want something completely different from the standard suburb, a distinctive identity, big development momentum, and you want to get there before the price fully reflects what's being built, Pittsboro is in its own category. And if the number at the top of your budget is the primary filter, if you want the most home for your money within reach of Raleigh, Sanford and Lillington are where the value is best. The commute is the trade-off. For a lot of buyers, it's a trade worth making. No town on this list is perfect. Every one of them has trade-offs, but every one of them is a legitimate option, especially if Raleigh's price tag isn't adding up for what you need. Of course, if you have any questions about any of these towns on this list, or you want to start the conversation about what your budget gets you in this market right now, that's exactly what we're here for. Drop a comment below or reach out directly through the link in the description. We'd love to help you take that first step. Until next time, I'm Zach. Welcome home.